Hi and welcome to day 8. So today I'd like to talk about, and for you to focus on, the structures and the systems that you already have in place, the things that work. So for a moment, put aside all the things you're wanting to change and focus on the things that actually is working, and analyze the systems that you have in place. For example, I'm going to go back to my water analogy. If I'm wanting to drink more water, I will, because don't drink tap water, I will boil the kettle in the evening full and then put it into glass bottles. A habit I have where I sing to the water, and I like to infuse it with love, because I'm a big fan of the work of Dr. Emoto, and now who's continuing that torch, Venda Austin. So I will then have that so it can cool for the next day, and it's infused with love, or I put my glass on my little selenite crystal ready, so it's there for the next day to drink. So that's a habit that I've got in place when I'm wanting to focus on that in my week, and when I want to up that challenge and I want to bring in more fluid into as a habit, and it is there, or that's already in place. So that's a structure that works. And so if you grab a piece of A4 paper and draw a line between it, and on one side I want you to write down all of the systems that are working, all of the systems that are, excuse me, I am live, guys, all of the systems that are working for you, all of the systems that are things that are you're benefiting from and that work. So you can see the structures that do work. And then of course on the opposite side, then you can look at how maybe some of the things that you're trying to bring in and shift and change, you can maybe structure so they work the same. So for example, if the fact with the water, setting it up before bed, you could, if you're struggling with maybe a morning system like myself at the moment, so I realise that if I want to shift that pattern, I need to start the day before. So that's an ideal one to think, right, okay, so how can I then compound habit that? Maybe I can make sure I'm working on my sleep routine, which will affect my morning routine. If it's exercise, for example, and maybe you are good at maybe walking the dog every day, but you want to increase your exercise, then maybe you could first do a timing where maybe a watch, and first work out, well, actually when I walk I am only doing this amount of steps, maybe I can increase on that, and I can habit stack with something that's already working for me. I can add to that. Maybe whilst you're walking your dog, for example, I don't have a dog, if it's studying, you want to be further in your education, you could be listening to some of your audio books for your course. For example, me, I've got some coursework books here that I've got for my teacher training. So adding to that, so for me that's adding 10 minutes a day, making sure I do 10 minutes. My minimum is, and the rule that I instigated at the beginning of this year, is the 5-minute rule. So if you do 5 minutes, 5 minutes of exercise, 5 minutes of studying, 5 minutes of focusing and thinking, right, I'm going to eat right today, so I'm going to spend 5 minutes preparing some food for myself for my lunch, or prepping some food for the dinner. So just in incrementation, those 5 minutes. So you're looking at your structures and the systems that are already in place, and how you can then commit to adding and shifting the already existing systems that you have, and integrating what it is that you're wanting to shift and change and transform. So I will leave you with that, and tomorrow we'll be looking at, or in day 9, we'll be looking at experimentation, the tools and fragments and habits that we can develop and play on it. So a little bit like we're working with today, so moving into more detail.